Do you constantly find yourself getting disrespected by men? Do you find it difficult to not only set boundaries, but keep those boundaries, especially when you like the guy? Well, today is the last day you ever make that mistake again, because on today's show, we're going to be discussing how to punish a man for disrespect. That way, you can finally stop being a doormat to the men that you're dating. Let's start with number one. You never freak out. Some of the things that are going to be natural to you when a guy disrespects you or crosses a boundary, we can also call it, is going to be to do things like freak out. However, that doesn't actually serve you in where you want to go and the result that you want. Because obviously, if he disrespects you, you want the disrespect to stop. You want him to apologize for what he did. You want him to mean his apology, and you want him to actually take steps forward to that never happening again. So in all of those things that you want as a result, you have to also understand how men perceive and receive things so that you can understand how to best use your time and energy to get closer to that result. The best punishment is for men in all forms, okay, is never to make him feel like you care more. I know it sounds very counterintuitive. Tomisin, so you're telling me I shouldn't flip out and be angry as he made me, or meet that disrespect that he gave me with a bunch of yelling and cursing, so that he can see that I'm really upset and I'm really bothered. Wouldn't that mean that really clear, amazing communication is for me to react and respond and go crazy and freak out just like he disrespected me? No. When you freak out, all they think to themselves is, oh, wow, she really does care. It becomes like an example of his power and control over you. That tells men, oh, she's attached to me. Oh, she cares about me. You guys have heard the term being digmatized before. If you guys are not familiar with that term, the terminology just speaks to when you lay some really good schlong on a woman, that you lay it so well she loses her mind. All of a sudden, that girl's going crazy about you, yelling at you, screaming at you, chasing you around everywhere because you laid it down so good on her. So how do you think subconsciously men are receiving you when you're going crazy on them? They're seeing it not as, oh, let me fix whatever it is, the issue that it is. They're saying, damn, I did lay it down on her crazy, huh? I got that 90-second schlong. That was the best minute and a half of her life. I was piping her out crazy. She probably blacked out. She probably came so hard. I'm really like the man type-ish. And I really mean that. You don't understand what you're actually doing for a man's ego when you show him how attached you are to him and how easily he can send you down a spiral. Okay? So when they disrespect you and they know they've disrespected you, and then they see you give no response, and then they see you specifically not freak out, now they're starting to question, well, wait a second. Why are you detached from this situation? Why are you not freaking out on me? Why are you not going crazy? You see, one of the things that I want you to understand in the Players Club, and that will be so powerful, we can call it manipulation if we want. At the end of the day, you're going to get what you want. One of the things that I want you to understand is love and hate actually feel quite the same. Even though we think that they're opposite emotions, they're not. Okay? They're actually made of the same emotion because you give attention to love and hate the same way. What you need to understand is the actual opposite of love is indifference. Because in love and in hate, you need to give attention to those things to love it or to hate it. But when you're indifferent to it, you don't give it any attention. And that is the scariest, most painful thing for men to experience, is indifference from you. Not that you hate them, not that you're so angry with them or upset with them. It's that you genuinely don't care. Number two is I want you to shift your energy. The reality of it is you're never going to be able to not feel things. That's just an unrealistic thing for me to say to you and tell you to do. Hey, just stop feeling things. Yeah, you're a woman, but I just, if you want to be evolved then and have great relationships, just stop feeling emotion. That's ridiculous. Okay. So what I actually want from you is to take the energy and the emotion that you're going to feel towards him when he disrespects you or crosses a boundary of yours. And I want you to shift that energy into a different place in your life. Okay. I know this kind of sounds strange, but what I want to do is I want to give you a strategy that not only allows you to punish him, but actually makes it possible for you to punish him because you're not losing your marbles, okay? So what needs to happen is you need to find something, some sort of outlet for you that anytime you need it, anytime you want it, it is always available for you to turn to and use as an outlet to get rid of emotion. Now, this is where you're going to have to start identifying what's the best version of this for you, because for everyone, it's going to be slightly different. For some people, you might be a workout warrior. So for you, it might be the gym. Maybe when you go to the gym and do a crazy heavy set, that pain that you feel, the lactic acid in your thighs, you're like, oh, I hate that guy. Oh, I'm going to kill this set, okay? And that might be what works for you. For some people who are maybe a little bit more artsy, they might make music. So you might go straight to the studio, or if you have a home studio, you might start writing a song, or if you have a guitar, you might start making a song on your guitar, a love song just to get out, and you use your lyrics to get out all of the emotion and all of the feeling. For some of you who might be creative, maybe you write. I seen someone say yoga, right? Whatever it is, singing, like I mentioned, journaling for some of you, right? This is where you have to start looking inward and exploring yourself and what your interests are so that you can find what your outlet is, okay? And that outlet should be available to you anytime that you need it, okay? The thing is, I just want you to find an outlet, something that you can shift your energy and focus on that actually requires energy and focus for you to do it, okay? That's the most important thing. I don't want your outlet to be, hey, when I'm sad, I just watch sad movies. Okay, that's not a real outlet, because when you're watching the sad movies, half your mind can be on the guy. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want your outlet to be, hey, when I'm sad, I scroll through TikTok, because that's not really a proper outlet. Half your mind can be on something else. We want your outlets to be something that requires focus and attention. We don't want your outlets to be something that can, like Vicky just said, we don't want outlets to be something that can feed delusion. And we also don't want outlets that can just be something that you passively consume without actually having to think or do something. So even if you say, hey, when I get stressed out, Tomisin, I like to listen to you, I want you to listen to me while you go do an activity. Okay, not just listen to me passively hoping that I will get your mind off things. Because the reality of it is, even as I'm talking, if you're not doing something to activate your brain in a way that requires actual action and focus, you're automatically, your focus is going to be shifting on that guy or that whatever, and you're not going to be able to actually express or shift that energy into whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, number 3 is for you to wait it out. This is very painful, and I know it's very painful, which is why I told you to shift your energy. Because I know waiting it out sounds easy in theory, but if I tell you to wait it out and I don't give you a strategy on how to do that efficiently and properly without going crazy, then I'm not really helping you. So what you need to do is you need to wait it out with an understanding of what's to come and what you're trying to accomplish here, okay? When you're waiting it out, you need to know why you're even here waiting it out. Is because when a guy disrespects you, it's very, very, very important that he realizes himself he has done something wrong. And he realizes that because you have withdrawn from him. When you withdraw from him, he begins to ask himself questions. This is the process that needs to happen. He needs to ask himself questions. Why has she withdrawn from me? What did I do? What did I say? How did I treat her that has led to her withdrawing from me? He needs to go through this process himself of deciphering, oh, I must have done something wrong. I must have disrespected her or crossed a boundary of hers. Now that I know that I've done something wrong, let me think to what might be the thing upsetting her. What did I say? What did I do? What boundary did I cross? I guarantee you 99% of the time, men, when given the space to know the ways that they disrespected you, can actually understand the ways that they disrespected you. The only reason you feel like men aren't capable of understanding or knowing that is because you spent too much time babying them that you don't believe they're smart or intelligent enough to see that. I promise you, any guy that you're dating that is getting to know you and learning you is smart enough to realize when you withdraw from him. If someone held a gun to his head, he could probably tell you why you withdrawn from him, okay? So I say that to say you need to stop babying men. You need to wait it out and understand when the process goes through as it's supposed to. And if he actually has intention of building with you, he will come to the realization, I have done something wrong. And 99% of the time, he'll be able to figure out what that thing is, which is why he'll come to you on bended knee or with a boombox outside of your window, apologizing for what he's done and ready to make a change or make an adjustment. Then and only then is when you're going to be able to actually get change from him. Okay, but we're going to get there eventually. But I want you to understand why you're here waiting it out in the first place. Because the reality of it is, remember where I talked about how men receive things? They're never going to properly receive the necessity of change if you don't show him, if he doesn't see within himself and his relationship that change is necessary. Now, number 4, close alternate routes. When you try to withdraw from them and they're sensing, no, you're trying something. You've been watching the Players Club a lot. You've been watching Tomisin a lot. I know this isn't you. I know this is very painful for you. I know that you can't really stick to this. So what I'm going to do, instead of coming to you with the boombox, ready to apologize to you, I'm going to do something that will make you break from the stance that you've been taking. Guys are very smart. They're not dumb. They're not dumb. When you attempt to punish them, they will become strategic about trying to get you to break from this punishment. There's a couple of things that they do. Hardest things that you're going to face when you try to punish a man. He's going to do this. He's going to present to you, while you're punishing him, some sort of emergency that needs to be attended to right now and here, where he needs your response and your immediate attention at that very moment. And in fact, the way he'll present the situation, he will try to make you feel guilty or like a bad person if you don't show him the appropriate amount of attention right there in that second. It's a trap! Anytime you're punishing a man and he has an emergency situation in the midst of you punishing him, it's a trap. What he's trying to do is he's trying to get you to back off your punishment, because he's estimating if he can make this situation seem urgent enough that it needs your attention right away, you will forget everything you were trying to do and prove a point with by punishing him for this action. And in the process of showing him attention for his emergency, he'll just weasel his way right back into talking to you and getting back in your life the same way he was in before. So let me give you an example of an emergency that guys will, bring up, okay? You and a guy aren't talking right now because, he disrespected you and crossed a boundary of yours, and now you're punishing him because you've been listening to me, and you're punishing him correctly. You shifted your energy, and you're actually doing really well and waiting it out. And now, let's say in the process of that, let's say like a week and a half goes by, or, a couple of days goes by, and he sends you a message. I'm having an emotional breakdown right now. I just really need someone to talk to. Can you come and talk to me? I just really want to speak to you. Can I come over to your place? I'm literally just driving around right now and I need to see you right now. And you're going to think to yourself, oh man, he seems like he's really going through it. Oh man, this seems like a really emotional, tough time for him. I feel really bad now if I'm not there for you. And he's gonna lay it on thick. Oh my God, you won't believe it. At work, I think I'm gonna get fired. And wouldn't you believe it, my friends, they're not really my friends. I found out they're all actors. And wouldn't you believe it, my family has abandoned me and disowned me. My father wrote me out of his will. He'll just it's like every situation that could ever possibly happen will have happened in the past 24 hours, and he'll just dump them all on you as if these are now your responsibility to solve and resolve for him right now. Okay. And Sweet said, that's tough, Brody. And I see, this is the thing. And I want to make this very clear to you, because you have to stay strong during this time. You have to. And I know that it's going to make you feel like a bad person, and it's going to make you feel so guilty as a person. But the reality of it is, if you're going to punish him, see, Men are so slick. They're so slick. They're not dumb idiots. They're so slick. So they know if they can do this properly, it's a real good way to get you to feel like you have no choice but to talk to him again. No choice but to be there for him again. And once you've re-entertained being there for him again, obviously it's going to make it that much easier to just continue on, talking to him and being around him the same way you were before. So guys attempt to do that. Now, the second way guys attempt to take an alternate route is by saying, oh, rather than apologizing to you, I'm just going to confront you in a way that forces you to acknowledge me without me having to apologize to you. So an example of that would be a guy who, let's say he's disrespected you across the boundary of yours, and later on that week, you guys are both supposed to attend a party or an event because your friends are going to be there and his friends are going to be there. He knows he's going to see you at that party or event. He pulls up to that party or event having not spoke to you that entire time, and rather than apologizing to you or having a discussion with you about that, he just comes up to you and says, so you're not going to talk to me anymore? So you're too cool for me now, right? And he essentially confronts you at that party or event, knowing it's going to put you on the hot seat, where if you're actually going to stand on business, not only do you have to ignore him over text and over a phone call and over social media, but now that he's actually in front of you. See, guys, they're not dumb. They know that majority of you aren't actually bold enough to really ignore him when he's standing right in front of you. And they're essentially trying to call your bluff, saying, oh, you're trying to stand on business here. You're trying to punish me. Let's see how serious you actually are about that. Because they're thinking in their mind, if I come up to you and I start having a conversation with you, or I acknowledge you or give you a hug or whatever, you wouldn't dare. You don't have the audacity to ignore me when I'm actually in front of you. You just can't. You can't do it. You can't stomach it. You like me too much. My schlong is too good. I penetrated you too deeply. I'm too amazing and awesome of a man that you could possibly ignore me when I'm in front of you. You ignore that man still. You close off any alternate routes that exist of him coming to you and apologizing for his behavior, acknowledging what he did wrong and acknowledging that how and he's going to fix that. So you either don't go to that party knowing that he's going to be there, or if that's something that you have to go to and show face at, you already go to that party knowing he's going to try and come up to you. You don't try to have eye contact with him or anything like that. He's going to try to catch your eye. He's going to try to put himself in front of you. And even if he's standing right in front of you, speaking to you directly, because remember, he didn't go to that party to apologize to you or to actually own up to what he did. Because if he truly wanted to apologize, he would have done that at a time that's not this party. So you don't allow him to use the time he's going to see you at a party or event to use that time you're supposed to be having fun with your friends to then apologize to you. No, if you are serious about that, you take that seriously and have that conversation with me outside of us being at this party or event. Because what guys will do also is they'll use that party or event to say, well, I'm talking to you about it now because now I want to apologize. No. Now you want to go home with me. Now you want to sleep with me. Now it's really convenient because you're seeing me right now. And if we're on good terms right now, maybe you could get some benefit out of it. Quite convenient that now you want to apologize to me that you're seeing me here in person at this party. If he was really serious about doing that, he would have taken time out of his day or week to do that with you, or call you up and do that, or send you a text that, hey, I want us to have a conversation so I can apply. One of those things. He would have taken time out of his day or out of his week and actually gone to see you to address that specifically, not addressing that at the party or event that he sees you at. Okay, so don't make the mistake of accepting the apology at the party or event as, oh, that's a genuine apology. Because if it was really genuine, he would have apologized to you much before that party. Don't allow men to weasel their way back into your life by doing anything except apologizing for the way that they disrespected you or the boundary that they crossed and how they're going to, what their plan or course of action is to fix that, adjust that, and to make sure that it doesn't happen again. And number 5, you want to give him a choice. See, when he finally comes to you and he apologizes for what he has done, there needs to be some sort of course of action on how we are going to move forward here so that this doesn't happen again. However, you're not going to be the one to tell him how he needs to move forward. You need to give him a choice on whether or not he actually wants to fix this or if he just wants to keep going through the same cycle over and over again. The reason I say you give him a choice is because you're not babying him here. And you also want to be analyzing if you actually mean what you say you mean in this apology. This apology should not just come with words and not just come with, hey, I'm sorry for treating you bad and disrespecting you, but, you know, it's so sad that we shouldn't do that. Because the reality of it is, if we're here to build a relationship, the relationship can't be built off of us making the same mistakes over and over and over and over again. Because eventually we'll just get to a point where after a while, the relationship becomes unsustainable, because how can we keep re-explaining ourselves and having the same fights about the same issues over and over again? That's called going in a hamster wheel. Okay, you're not moving forward when you're having the same fights about the same things over and over again. You're moving in a circle. We don't want that for you. So when guys come back into your life and they apologize to you and all that stuff, you need to give them a choice on if they're even ready to build a course of action or a plan forward to actually not have that continuously happen over and over and over again. And the reason I say give them a choice is because sometimes you're going to make the mistake that when you're punishing a guy, you think, okay, now that you finally come back, let me tell you that you need to do this and you need to do that and you need to do this and you need to do that and that and that and that. No. Once again, you're babying him. And once again, you need to have him, what you're doing, you're having him associate withdrawal with bad behavior. So you're going to withdraw when there's bad behavior. You also want to make sure that when he comes back to you after you withdrawn from him and he's ready to fix the situation and apologize for what he's done, he also begins to develop the skill to be able to say, I have done something bad. I apologize for what I have done, but also I have thought about how I cannot have this happen continuously in our relationship. Because not only do I want you to be happy in our relationship and I want our relationship to go well and I don't want to disrespect you or make you feel bad, I also don't want to continue making the same mistake over and over again.